My name is Lori Carter, and I'm going to talk to you today about the three planes of movement. The first off, I'm going to position myself in the anatomical position, which is palms facing forward and my legs slightly apart, slightly externally rotated at the hips. So the first plane of motion, or plane of movement, is the frontal plane. So that divides the body from the front to the back. So the anterior, the posterior part of the body. The axis that corresponds with it is the x-axis. So it goes laterally to medially across the body. The motions that correspond with this plane are abduction and adduction and ulnar deviation and radial deviation and trunk lateralization, so neck and trunk lateral movements. So the next plane of movement is the sagittal plane. So this plane divides the body from the right side to the left side. And the axis that corresponds with it is the z-axis. It runs anterior to posterior through the body. The motions that correspond with this plane are flexion, extension, hyperextension, and then you have dorsiflexion, and then plantar flexion. So the last plane is the horizontal or transverse plane, and it deals with movements of rotation. So you have rotation at the hips and the shoulders, and then you have supination, pronation, and then you have you can see my feet. Here we go. So then you have inversion and eversion. Sorry if you can see that or not. Then the worksheet that corresponds with this, I'm supposed to identify the movements and what plane the movements correspond in. So the first movement is shoulder flexion, and they correspond in the sagittal plane. And shoulder internal and external rotation is in the transverse plane. And shoulder hyperextension, that would be in the sagittal plane. And leg abduction and adduction is in the frontal plane. And supination, pronation, transverse plane, horizontal. Flexion, extension of the elbow is in the sagittal plane. And lateral flexion of the spine is in the frontal plane. And flexion and extension of the knee are in the sagittal plane. And rotation of the head to the left, to the right is in the transverse plane. So that concludes my video about the planes of movement, the three planes of movement, the frontal, the sagittal, and the horizontal planes, with their corresponding axes and movements. Thank you. Lori out.